were about the same size, and how for birthdays some of the team would make the trip to the nearest big city, Yakutsk, for karaoke, to forget for a moment that the buildings around them were slowly sinking into ancient mud. "Can somebody take me to the girl?" I asked. There was a notable pause. A researcher in the kitchen put away the plastic cups and bottle of whiskey he was no doubt bringing over to welcome me. The cluster of disheveled scientists, most of them in flannel or fleece, felt like a repeat of Clara's memorial a month ago, a church filled with her friends and co-workers, most of whom we'd never met before. I'd shaken their hands as they lined up to tell me and my wife, Micky, how sorry they were. A man with spiky blue hair said he'd once tattooed a star system onto Clara's back, a purple planet orbiting 3 red dwarfs, and called her a fucking trip. Our old neighbors reminisced about how Clara used to babysit their twin girls, help them gain confidence in math. A bald gentleman, her project supervisor at the International Fund for Planetary Survival, gave me his card and invited me to continue my daughter's work in Siberia. After the crowd left, I held Micky as we rewatched the slideshow I'd prepared, pausing on a photo of 3-year-old Clara at her foster facility. She held the purple crystal pendant she'd had when we adopted her. We both swore we saw her eyes light up with tiny stars whenever she gazed into it. Outside the funeral home, our granddaughter, Yumi, played with her cousin despite the heat waves rippling the street. I could smell the smoke from the burning Marin headland to the east beginning to creep over the neighborhood. "Our daughter never seemed to need us," Micky said, her voice barely above a whisper. "But Yumi does." I clutched the business card in my pocket. At the research outpost, Maxime led me away from the awkward stares of the crew to the mummified remains Clara had found before she died. "Annie's in the clean lab," Maxime said. "Annie?" I asked. "Yulia loves the Eurythmics. Her parents are still living in the 80s. She named the body after Annie Lennox." The clean lab consisted of a plastic sheet duct taped from floor to ceiling, separating one side of the bone lab from the other. He handed me a box of nitrile gloves and a respirator face mask. "We don't have funding for anything else, but we try to be mindful of the pathogens we may bring back with us." "Probably nothing to worry about 99% of the time," he added. "Right," I said, a little taken aback by his cowboy attitude. "Some of our colleagues at Pleistocene Park, about 1,000 kilometers east, have made progress reintroducing bison and native flora to the land. More vegetation, more large animals roaming the steppes packs the topsoil, preserves the ice below the surface, helps us keep the past in the past." I doubled up my gloves, pulled on my mask, and stepped through a slit in the plastic. Annie rested on her side, fetal, on a metal table. Preliminary external examination notes. Pre-adolescent HS sapiens with possible Neanderthal characteristics, slight protruding brow ridge. Approximately 7 or 8 years old, 121 centimeters in length, 6 kilograms in weight, would have been approximately 22 kilograms in life. Remnants of reddish-brown hair remain at temples. Tattoo on left forearm. 3 black dots, surrounded by a circle, punctuated with another dot. Body is covered in stitched garment, likely a mixture of pelts. Seashells not endemic to the region woven into stitching. Further study needed. The tissue around her eyes had shriveled as if she were staring into the sun. The skin around her mouth had begun to recede, revealing a pained cry. I couldn't help but picture Clara as a young girl, or Yumi, who was about this age, traversing barren plains in search of big game, stalked by giant steppe lions and wolves. I ran my hands over her clenched fists. "Big fucking mystery," Maxime said, coming up behind me. "Most of our research here is funded, in partnership, with the International Fund for Planetary Survival. We keep busy with soil and ice core samples and the occasional ancient animal carcass, but I'd be lying if I said all of us haven't been distracted by Annie and the other bodies we recovered from the cavern. And, of course, there's the unidentified virus that Dave found within them in our preliminary samples. Have you run any other scans, tested samples? The shells, for one thing. From a small sea snail native to the Mediterranean. Trivia monacha. I mean, there's evidence of Neanderthals and early humans in Siberia near the Altai Mountains as early as 60,000 years ago, but nothing this far north."